Hi, my name's Katie. I'm going to talk about wegovy today. If you're not interested in GLP-1s, PCOS, weight loss, or whatever, then go away. Just kidding, but also not really. It is a torrential downpour outside. I am sitting in my car, as you can see. I'm stuck in town right now, so I figured I would try to kill some time. Is it snowing a little bit? It was supposed to be more of like a sit down, like while I'm ready sort of situation. Is that a pimple? That's great. I am aware that I look like shit today. I am a mom. I get up early to take my kid to school, and today she's out of school early, so I decided it's not worth it to go all the way home, sit at home for an hour, and then turn around and come back. So I'm here, I'm out, and I decided to talk about this. Basically, there's a couple of things that are going on as far as like the wegovy and the updates that I have. If you don't know, I've been on wegovy for over a year now. It would be 2 years in April. So a long time. I've lost just about 90 pounds, like 87 pounds, I think 86 pounds, almost 90 pounds. I am now currently working on building muscle and trying to like, you know, get a little bit of the muscle that I lost back. I am significantly weaker than I used to be, so there is that. But I am on it for PCOS. So the reason that my prior authorization was approved in the first place was because I have a PCOS diagnosis with insulin resistance. Those two things together, they approved my prior authorization on the first try, which is great because I was told like it could take a long time. But they approved it like within maybe 2 days of my doctor sending it in, which was awesome. This doctor I've talked about, I really like her. She really fights for her patients. She cares a lot. She answers your emails like within the same day. She doesn't tell you like, oh, it's just anxiety. Oh, it's just your weight. Oh, it's like, you know how they can be sometimes. And she's very, very like, she listens basically. And so I was very happy to find her. She's the only provider that I've had where I walk in and I say, yeah, I've got PCOS. She was up to date on every study, everything that's recent, like everything that's come out. She is the only one that I've had that is up to date on PCOS. Like, I will say my other provider, like my primary care provider, she is open to doing research and listening and like learning. So I like that. I feel like this one, she just already knew everything, and it's nice to not have to sit and like explain yourself repeatedly, especially with the insulin resistance. So my main thing with like the weight loss was I've been trying for years and nothing was working. I had been doing every diet imaginable, taking all the supplements that they tell you to take for PCOS, doing all kinds of research. I was on metformin, which like come to find out, I was on too low of a dose of metformin. There have been studies that show that like, I think it's 1500 milligrams is like the best number for people with PCOS, or even higher. Or maybe it was more than that. I can't quite remember exactly the number, but it's like I was on too low of a dose, and but that didn't really end up mattering because I got on the wegovy like within a few days of increasing my dose of metformin, and then the metformin started making me sicker with the wegovy, so I stopped taking it. I did go back on it at one point, and then I got back off of it, and right now I'm not on it at all. So this entire time we've been discussing like what happens when I hit my goal weight, which I have. And the plan was to go down a dose every couple of months until we are for sure just maintaining and not losing, which right now I've been maintaining and not losing, and I think I'm on my 3rd month on 1.7. So I think it's safe to go down another dose and see if I keep maintaining. And that was the plan. I was gonna go see my doctor in January and go down another dose. It turns out now that she's leaving the practice. She's moving to a different facility in the same county. So, and it's at our cancer center. And I've seen doctors at the cancer center before. It's kind of like a huge building that has like all kinds of specialties. They have physical therapy. They have like, there's a lab down there. They do x-rays, they do ultrasounds, they do all kinds of stuff. It's kind of like a mini hospital with no emergency room. And no, like, you can't stay there, but like, I don't know how, it's like a big, huge doctor's office, I guess is the better explanation than a mini hospital. But, so I was like, okay, well, I'll just move to that facility and I'll go see her there. And so I emailed her and I was like, hey, I heard you're leaving. Like, you know, I don't want to see they recommended a nurse practitioner that I've heard really bad things about. So I was like, I don't want to see her. And she emailed me back and she said that she's only doing palliative care, which is terminally ill patients, which is very, you know, like, good for her. I think that's a really, really, like, great career choice, as far as just because she cares so much and she really is like the best around here. And I think that's really great for those patients. Like, I'm happy for them. It's unfortunate, you know, that they're in that situation, but she is the best provider that they could get in this town, like, hands down. So I'm happy, like, that somebody there is going to be good, because again, I haven't really heard great things about the cancer center either and their doctors. But that means that I can't see her because I am not terminally ill, which is, you know, very thankful for that and everything. It's just unfortunate because it did take me like years and years and years to find somebody who would listen and be knowledgeable about PCOS and everything that I was struggling with. So, you know, whatever. But she's the first provider. I walked in, I told her I'm trying all these things and it's not working, and she listened and she heard me, and she was like, I will fight your insurance for you. I've had to send in like over 10 prior authorizations for one patient before. If it's not wegovy, it'll be something else. We'll figure it out. And she did great, and it was, you know, awesome. She's leaving, so I'm transferring all of that to my primary care. I already talked to her about it, and she was like, yeah, we'll just, in January, we'll have you go down to the 1.0 dose. And I was like, cool. And then I got a letter from my insurance stating that they will not be covering any GLP-1s for any reason other than type 2 diabetes. So I emailed my doctor who's leaving, and I was like, is there anything that we can do about this? Because I'm not on it for weight loss. Yes, that was like a big motivating factor. However, with my PCOS, I'm having like no symptoms anymore. My last period was a little bit weird, I will say, but I was under a lot of freaking stress. So I think that's more like what that had to do with. My body doesn't tolerate stress very well regardless. I think it's just from being chronically stressed as a child all the time. It's finally like catching up with me. But other than that, like regular monthly, not as painful, you know, not as heavy. I'm not having the problems that I was having before. I did lose the weight, and I'm less fatigued. I don't have depression anymore. I still do get anxiety, but like it's not something I need to be medicated for at this point. Like, same with the depression. Like, yeah, everyone has bad days, but I've been like really like clinically depressed and been on medication and, you know, gone through all of that, and I'm not there right now. Like, I'm doing great. I'm very happy with where I'm at. I'm very happy with who I am. I'm very happy like with my situation. You know, there's always things that could be better, but like compared to a year ago when I started this medication, like night and day difference, complete 180. Like, I cannot express in words just how life-saving truly that this medicine has been for me. So anyway, I got a letter from my insurance saying they're not going to cover it anymore no matter what, and I emailed my doctor, and she said, yeah, unfortunately PCOS isn't like an FDA approved reason to be on a GLP-1, which I feel like it should be, but that's just based on my experience with it. Like I said, I've tried metformin, did inositol, did keto, did Whole30, did paleo. There's probably more in there that I tried. And I did like, you know, plant-based. I tried everything for months. It wasn't like a couple weeks at a time. I would give it like 4 months, I think, before I gave up. And I would lose like 10, 15 pounds each time. But 10, 15 pounds in 4 months when you're dieting that hard. And mind you, there were times where I would be eating way less than 1,000 calories every day, or fasting, eating 1 meal a day. If you go to my very first Wegovy Diaries video, in that video, I talk about how I'm doing 1 meal a day, and I had been doing 1 meal a day for I don't know how long at that point, and I wasn't losing any weight. And so, you know, I had tried everything. I had been doing intensive exercise. I'd been doing lots of cardio, lots of weightlifting, lots of walking, lots of hiking, which I don't really do as much anymore, although today would not be a great day for that anyway. But like with the Wegovy, I was still already, like I said, already doing diets and exercising and all of that and eating very healthy. And so the weight kind of just fell off because I didn't really have to change too much about my diet because it was already like pretty good, you know? And I would say my diet is worse now because I know I can get away with it. So I need to like nip that in the bud, I know. And I've been pretty good, like, you know, protein for breakfast and all of that. Like because now I have to worry about getting off of it. I cannot wean off. So the studies show that weaning off of it is like your best bet for not regaining the weight. And with PCOS, I feel like the chances are pretty high that I'll regain the weight and go back to being miserable, which it upsets me because like they can see how much this is helping me. They have my medical records. They know, like my blood work, I would have high like auto-neutrophils, high white blood count, high, like a couple like inflammatory markers that were high, and it would be around my period that they would get higher, and then they would like kind of go back down, and my platelet count was high for some reason. Like I had to go see a specialist for it, and he told me it was because of my PCOS, and he was like, just continue to lose weight and that'll fix it. And it did. Like the last several times that I've had lab work done, everything has been within a normal range. And so it's upsetting to me that they're taking it away from me now that everything is like cured, quote unquote, because I just feel like do you want to end up spending more money in the future when I end up with type 2 diabetes? Like I did everything that I could to prevent the weight gain when it started and it didn't work. Like it's the insulin. The insulin is the problem for me. And why are you taking away something that I need? So I've also read some studies that like people who get off of wegovy and then go on metformin have some success. I hated metformin, man. The side effects of metformin are just super brutal, but I would go back on it if, you know, I thought that it would help. But anyway, I decided, so me and my fiance have been together. This is our 13th year. Our anniversary is in a couple weeks, and it'll be our 13th anniversary. And we are not married at this point, for many reasons, mostly just because I want a big wedding with everyone I love there, but everyone that I love kind of hates each other, and I don't want the drama. And then we would like start planning, and I'd be like, okay, who are we inviting? But they don't like them, and do we need security because they're gonna fight? And like, anyway, literally like a few weeks ago we decided, screw it, we'll just do the wedding, invite everyone, and if they have problems with each other, then that's their business. You know, we want to be married, this is what we want. So we were planning a wedding in May, and I, you know, went and looked at dresses. I did like planning stuff. I talked to caterers. You know, because May is pretty, you know, short notice for a wedding. And then I got that letter from insurance, and then I looked on his insurance, and they don't cover wegovy, but they do cover Ozempic, and they cover like Mounjaro. So chances are that I could get on one of those with his insurance, but I can't be on his insurance without being married. That's at the end of the day. So our anniversary is coming up, and we are going to elope that day. That way we have one anniversary. I do like that. I like that. I'm not going to be like, which anniversary do we celebrate, or do we do both, or like, you know. So we are getting married, and then I'm going to go on his insurance, and then I'm hoping that I'll have enough wegovy to get me through January, because like they're going to need another prior auth. I'm going to have to like sit with my doctor and like talk about it. So it's a whole thing. There is other ways to get it. I know that there's like online websites that you can do, like Row or Hers. There's a bunch of different ones. They're just pretty out of my price range regardless. So I'd much rather have it be covered under insurance. Now, if that doesn't work, if they don't approve my prior auth, then yes. Like I've said, this has been so life-changing for me and so necessary for my PCOS that I feel like it's worth the money in the long run to get on it. And eventually it will be cheaper. Like eventually there will be a generic version. And eventually I'll be pregnant too, so I will not be taking it anymore. Once we start trying for a baby is when I will stop taking it. So, you know, if it ends up that his insurance won't cover it for me, then I will just move on to online and then wait for it to get cheaper, basically, is the plan. So it's unfortunate that this is how it is, especially with how much it's helped me. And there's nothing I can do about it. I can't call the insurance company and be like, you need to keep covering this for me because of X, Y, and Z. I can't do anything about it. But with my boyfriend's insurance, I could. If they denied me, I could appeal it. Like, I could fight. And so that's the plan right now, is to fight and get it covered. So that's the update on the wegovy. I am just very, like, it was disheartening when I got the letter. I'm not gonna lie, I for sure cried because, like I said, it's been so, I just was thinking, like, I cannot go back. I can't go back. I can't go back to how it was. And that's not even really regarding the weight. Like, no, I don't want to gain the weight back because I was so miserable in my own body. But, like, also, I don't want to go back to the extremely painful periods, the extremely heavy periods, the missed periods, constantly wondering if I'm pregnant because I just happen to not ovulate that month, being told, like, oh, you just need to get back on birth control. Like, all of the things that come along with PCOS, the depression, the anxiety, like, everything that has been a problem has been solved from me being on this medication. Like, this wouldn't have happened if I hadn't gotten on this medicine, and I know that. So it's just, I cried because I just thought about, like, who I used to be and who I am now, and I never want to be who I used to be ever again. You know, there's been a lot of growth, a lot of, like, changes this year, and I am happy right now, and I would like to stay happy. So anyway, that's all I've got for today. That's the wegovy update. I just, you know, that's all I've got. If there's anyone out there that's had this happen to them, because I know insurance is a bitch with GLP-1s because they're very expensive. If there's any way that you've gotten around it, let me know before my anniversary, hopefully. Of course, we want to be married. It just feels like now we're being rushed, and because, you know, they don't care that you need it for a medical reason. They just don't want you on it at all unless you're type 2 diabetic, which I had insulin resistance and I was pre-diabetic. So why doesn't that count? But that is all. I've got to go. Life is hard. And I will be back with a random video not related to PCOS. So, okay, bye.